How did you find out you were getting cheated on? His friend was kind enough to tell me. It ruined their relationship, but it was very meaningful to me. I appreciated someone doing me the kindness of letting me know. We had been dating for about 8 months at that point, and we were out on a date when she got a phone call that her fiancé had just been in a terrible motorcycle accident and died. We never talked again. She was obviously getting horrible news on the phone. She looked destroyed. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me his name. I couldn't place the name, and when I asked who that was, she told me. A call girl literally banged on the door. When I opened it, she zeroed in on him and threatened to call her pimp on him for not paying her. You know how Facebook chat bubbles open up on top of whatever app you're on. He sent me a screenshot of something funny between him and his cousin. In the background was a text message about a date he was going on with this girl. I found an explicit love letter that was not from me. We had been married for 15 years. My parents told me. They overheard him on the phone with another woman. We broke up. I made a new friend and she asked if I had a boyfriend and I told her we had just ended the relationship, but I also told her his name, to which she replied I had a boyfriend with that name too not too long ago. It wasn't a common name in our area, so I laughed and I showed her a picture and she did the same and we stopped laughing. It was the same guy. We both dated him for like 4 months at the same time. Got off early from work one day. Literally walked in on going at it with another dude. I thought that kind of thing only happened in the movies, but it happened to me. I had suspicions about my wife for a while, but confirmation came in the form of a voicemail from the guy's wife. Hi, this message is for you. Just wanted to let you know that your wife has been having an affair with my husband. So I just thought you should know. If you have any questions, I'm sure your wife would love to tell you all about it. Bye. I had suspicions for a long time that my ex-husband was cheating, and the red flags looking back are clear as day, but at the time it always got twisted around that I was just a paranoid crazy person. Then at work one night, my phone rings, and I didn't answer because I didn't recognize the number. Immediately after, my husband calls and sounds super freaked out and says, "You're about to get a phone call, don't answer it. It's all lies." What are you talking about? Melissa's boyfriend is drunk and thinks we've been sleeping together and he's going scorched earth trying to ruin us because he made this up in his head. So I call the number that just called me. He is not drunk and found the texts and pictures on her phone and offered to send me the screenshots. I called my husband back and told him he better not be at home when I get home in the morning. A girl texted me and asked if I was single, because she saw my girl making out with someone else at a party. The girl texted me. I had my doubts, but no evidence. Not that I needed evidence to leave, but that's another story. She texted me on IG with screenshots of him chatting with her, and a very prominent pic of his banana against a very distinctive floor tile. No way to say that's not my banana. So, busted. My wife cheated and had a 2-year-long affair. I found out when the other man's wife texted me and told me everything. I confronted my wife and she lied through her teeth until I hit her with some facts of the matter that she couldn't deny. We were sweethearts that were together for 18 years and married 11 with 2 young kids, 3 and 5. The absolute worst moment of my life, and I've been in a deep depression since finding out. Funny thing, it was this day 4 years ago that I found out my wife was having an affair with her boss. I knew something was wrong. The way she acted around me was off. I had asked her point blank if she was having an affair with someone. She denied it and suggested we go to marriage counseling. I took this as I was doing something wrong and went in hoping to find the issue that could save my marriage. She lied again in the counseling. This went on for about a month and a half. I had Thursdays off of work, so I got up and worked out, did a little bit of cleaning and sat down. That moment my brain went wild with the possibility of her having an affair. So, I logged into her Facebook and found the messages between her and the alleged man. I called her crying asking why. She gave me a cold "I don't know what to tell you" and hung up. I left the house and went to the bank to get my half of the money. On the way I called an old boss and had a better job in a different city by the end of the day. I am a pretty simple person. I don't ask for much besides trust and truth in a relationship. That was broken now and I was out. I ended up remarrying a woman with 2 kids and couldn't be happier. Not me but my parents. Dad found out from a dirty text that his best friend of 30 plus years sent to my mom. Mom was mentally abusive and convinced him not to tell me I was in college and didn't live at home at the time. I found out a month later when wife of said best friend messaged me on Facebook and asked how I was doing with all of this. Mom left and hasn't talked to me in 6 plus years. Dad got remarried. He just had his first anniversary. New wife adopted me and I have a good mom for the first time in my life. He was paying his ex rent over Venmo. We were going to move to a whole different state together. Apparently, he was thinking all 3 of us were going to be a happy family. Another time, a guy told me his grandpa passed so he needed to go be with his family. Then posted my love my life on a nice picture with his girlfriend of 1 year that was not me. His grandpa was fine. I had suspicions prior to me actually finding out, but it's a fun story. I worked the overnight shift at a printing store. My then girlfriend was sleeping soundly at our apartment, or so I thought. At around 3 a.m., she walked in wearing an oversized hoodie and leopard print high heels. I'm a bit puzzled. She looks she's been crying. I ask her what's going on. She says she wrecked her car and needs my keys so she can go home and sleep. I give her the keys and she leaves. I get home at around 8 a.m. She's sleeping. Her purse is on the table. Her phone is there. I reach for her phone. The purse falls sideways out, spills protection. I unlock her phone and go to her messages. There is a long text conversation between her and another man. She had been cheating with for a while. I woke her up and asked that she leave that day. My dad helped me drop her stuff off at her grandparents'. She was drunk driving her brand new car home from a party with her other lover when she lost control of her car, ending up in a ditch. She reported it as stolen and had a friend give her a ride to my workplace. I've had no contact with her since and I never want to see or hear from her again. I've been seeing this girl for 8 months, and flowers arrived from a guy called Matt on her birthday, but she managed to convince me he was just a friend. It wasn't a problem as I was finally meeting her family for the first time at her birthday meal that same day, and she dropped the L-bomb a few days later. I stayed at hers after the meal, then left for work in the morning. Later that day I sent her the usual text of when you free next, and then she decided to inform me that Matt was actually her boyfriend of 5 years, and she was moving 300 miles to the house that he had bought for them both, and I would never get to see her again. Safe to say it left me with just a few trust issues. Okay, I thought this was just me and that's why I've never told anyone Earl this story, it was so embarrassing. She wasn't my best friend, but we were still pretty close. Then my boyfriend at the time just wrapped an arm around her and started kissing her while I just sat awkwardly next to them. I was so stunned I almost brushed it off before it hit me that oh my god, my boyfriend is kissing another girl. I literally had to walk away to process it, and TBH I don't think they even noticed because it took a bit of time for them to even talk to me about it. My friend walked up to me and I confronted her, asking why she would do that with my boyfriend, and she called me a B for using the boyfriend card. It's one of the stupidest excuses I have ever heard, and the worst part is that I did feel like a B since everyone seemed so calm about it. Turns out that she'd been his side chick as soon as we started dating. Even some of my friends knew, but for some reason they just assumed I was fine with it. Apparently being bi means you can't have your boundaries violated. Woo, sorry to unload all this here, but it's incredibly validating to know that I'm not the only one who's experienced something this ridiculous. And it's crazy how shameless they were about it too. I always felt like no one would believe me if I told them, because it just felt so straightforward. The guy wrote me a message on social media, said he was sorry and didn't know she was in a relationship. I bumped into him at a bar years later and bought him a drink. Her roommates called and asked me to meet them for lunch, said it was important. I met them and they told me she had been cheating on me with her ex the entire time I was deployed. They showed me pictures back when you had to get pictures developed. They said I was a good man and I didn't deserve to be treated like that. They had collected my things that morning when she left for work and gave them to me. I drove to her work, walked up to her, showed her the pictures and demanded the ring back. She gave it to me and I left. Later she called me yelling about me conspiring with her roommates, basically trying to make it my fault. She asked what I was doing meeting with them. I said, it's called respect and closure and it sounds like this. Then I unplugged the phone landline, waited an hour, plugged in the phone and called the phone company, said I needed to change my number and never heard from her again. I took it really rough and am thankful for her roommates and the friends that got me through probably the darkest time of my life.